Hi, welcome to HACCP training on hazard analysis and critical control points in food industry. This video will focus on hand washing and food contact surfaces. The second most important check that a health inspector will conduct in a restaurant is hand washing, and it is also linked to food contact surfaces, as we will see later. When health inspectors walk into a restaurant, they do assess if the food handlers know the hand washing rules. In other words, the health inspector will look if the food handlers know how to wash their hands. That is by rubbing hands together with soap, properly rubbing palms through their fingers, fingertips and nails, around their palms, and then rinsing properly before drying. A good advice is to use paper towel or your elbow to close the tap and not the wet hands. Then they will also assess if the food handlers know when to wash their hands, which should be when they just first enter the kitchen or after any break, whether a toilet break, smoking or a food break. It should also be before and after, handling any food, especially raw meat, doing any cleaning, touching different types of food, handling and emptying the bins, or touching other non-food items, and last but not least, after putting on or changing any wound dressing. So you as the manager or supervisor should make sure your food handlers do know all the hand washing rules and making sure that they do wash their hands when they are supposed to and they do wash them properly. And they also follow these rules every day. Remember, if food handlers are wearing gloves, they should not be used to replace hand washing, but to complement it. They should remember to wash hands before and after wearing gloves, and should change them after handling different type of food. So in other words, they should still follow the same hand washing rules, meaning when they are supposed to wash their hands is when they should change the gloves. Remember not to recycle or to reuse the gloves and not to use damaged gloves. Other things that a health inspector will investigate, so you as a manager should check daily, are things like: is there enough soap? Is there a paper towel? Is water hot enough? Do you have a separate hand wash basin? Is it clean, or does it have other things in it? When it comes to the sink, it is very important to ensure it is kept clean, no mold, taps are in working order and not leaking, and hand washing basin isn't filled with dirty dishes. In short, make sure your hand washing basin or sinks are cleaned regularly. The next check that a manager should conduct daily and an inspector would definitely examine is the food contact surfaces. In the Pestige template, this is the fourth check in both opening and closing checklists. What do we mean by food contact surfaces? These are all the places that the food may be put before, during and after cooking. For example, raw meat is brought in. Where is it put before keeping it in the fridge? How is it stored in the fridge? Where is it being prepared, washing it or cutting it? The utensils used in cooking and after cooking it. So example of the food contact surfaces will be the table. Is it clean and free from non-food mess, like sanitizers, rubbish, electronics, etc.? The chopping boards. Are they clean as well? And do you have separate chopping boards for meat, vegetables and fish, or even kneading and cutting bread? So even hands, utensils, cutters and machines are all part of food contact surfaces. So the table and all of these surfaces should be clean and sanitized daily. However, just being clean is not enough. How they are cleaned matters more. Why? When a health inspector checks your table, they may ask you, how do you clean your table? What they basically want to know is, do you use sanitizers? Do you have sanitizers? How do you use the sanitizers? Do you know the contact time for the sanitizers? So basically, you spray, you wait for 30 seconds, then you wipe, or you do follow the instructions on the bottles. So you as a manager and the food handlers should know proper use of sanitizers so you can answer these questions correctly. You also make sure all the sanitizers are stored in safe place away from food area. As mentioned before, it is emphasized to have separate chopping boards for different type of food. For example, for raw meat, fish, vegetables, or kneading dough and cutting bread. All of these chopping boards should be well cleaned, dried, and stored nicely when not in use. In the Pestige template, this is the fourth check in both opening and closing checklists. If the food handlers know and follow the hand washing rules carefully, then you are likely to be guaranteed another star towards your rating. In the next video, we will focus on refrigeration rules.